Last semester, I had a course that was also kind of proving difficult. And from 8 over 15 in my first test, I went on to having 15 over 15 in that same course. And then even going to even love the course and completely acing my exam. So I'm going to be telling you the 5 steps that actually indulged to actually help me to get to that point in this video. So let's get into it. Sincerely, everything I'm going to say in this video is going to be worthless if you don't pay attention to this point 1. Because some of you actually want to pass, but you have not yet decided to pass. And that's simply because you don't even believe that you can actually pass. I want you to leave this video with a sufficient level of audacity to look at any course in the eye and say, you're not going to stand between me and my first class or my 5.0 GPA. And that brings me on to the Bible verse for today, which is 1 John 5 verses 4, NLT version. And it says, for every child of God defeats this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith. So, I need you to truly believe that you actually have victory over this course, because where there is belief, then comes the will, and where there's a will, there's a way. And this scripture is not even just talking about passive belief. We're talking about the faith that actually brings action. When you truly believe that something is going to happen, you'll start acting in alignment towards that thing. And here's something you can do immediately after this video to actually increase your belief for that particular course. So tomorrow, or even today if you can, look in the mirror and just simply recite to yourself, there's no course I cannot understand or pass as long as I put my mind to it. And I know that it sounds like all these affirmation things that you always see on the internet, telling you to recite it over and over again. But science actually says that repeating positive affirmations can create new, stronger neural pathways in the brain associated with positive thinking and behaviors, potentially leading to lasting changes in thought patterns and behaviors. So by doing this, you're not only going to just be changing your thought pattern. By changing how you think, you change the way you behave, and by changing the way you behave, you change your overall outcomes over time. So if you don't even have to use in the mirror, just as you're walking towards stars, as you're walking on the road, just keep reaffirming to yourself that there's no course that you cannot understand or pass as long as you put your mind to it. And doesn't even have to be affirmations. Sometimes it can even be scriptures. And I'm going to put on the screen here some of the scriptures that I put on my wall during my exam time to help me reaffirm some new positive beliefs. So some of you are actually very, very funny. You've come to understand that, okay, in the next few days I have a test that's coming up. Oh, now I need to rush to read everything. And what do? You start from the most recent topic they taught you and you start going backwards. How does it work? It doesn't. When you want to try and understand the course, not even maybe just understand, just to kind of understand so that you can easily write it there. The best thing you can do is actually to start from the beginning, understanding 3 different things that will actually help you to understand the core concepts. Because understanding the core concepts is one of the major things that stop a whole lot of students from actually understanding the course and passing it to the best of their level. So the first one I would say is definitions. I know that definitions, it might look like as an engineering student, or maybe any student, like, what is the purpose of definitions? Why do I even need to learn definitions? But definitions was really one of the things that helped me in that particular course I was talking about before. Okay, just let me talk about one of the particular concepts now. Transfer function. A transfer function is the ratio of output to input when all the initial conditions are 0. So I never knew that it was a part of the definition that said all the initial conditions are 0. So by knowing that definition, I was able to understand the calculation questions much better just by knowing the definition. So look at all the studies that you're struggling with. What are the definitions of all these kind of things that you're doing that can actually help you to understand it better and list them out and go over them? But the second one is simply the laws. That, especially if you're doing physics or anything like that, there are laws to all these kind of things. Archimedes law, floating, all the ones. You know what you need to learn. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with the laws. And this next one, it has killed a lot of people. So just pay attention. The third one is simply formulas. I know that sometimes in engineering, they tell us not to cram the formulas and all that. But I've even found a way that actually works even easier. Sometimes I didn't used to learn formulas. I used to learn how to derive formula. But it's possible that sometimes you might actually forget the formula in itself. But if you know how to derive the formula by yourself, not all these long formulas, don't learn how to derive formulas that are too long, but formulas that are actually easy to remember and all that. Try and see how you can remember them, because those are the things that will actually help you to understand the basis of what you're actually trying to learn and will make that subject a whole lot easier. And I know that from the very beginning of this video, you'll definitely learn something. So please share this video with somebody else, another engineer, another person that you know that will actually benefit from this. Because this video took a whole lot to make, and I would really appreciate if a whole lot more people got to see it. So thank you very much for sharing this video and for liking as well. So This next one, I can promise you, is one of the many reasons I'm very sure you have been struggling in university. And once I discovered this one, God, I was literally flying through university and no longer struggling. And this has to be more like do with the way you learn. So my experience with that particular course, like I told you, was that I grew to love it, right? And how I grew to love it was that I knew that my learning method was that I easily understood when somebody taught me or when I watched YouTube videos where they were teaching me. And so they gave us a playlist and it had 87 videos inside. I knew that what I'm going to do this holiday was to give myself to understanding that 87 videos, because I knew that once I did it, I would practically be unstoppable. And that's what I did. Well, I didn't want to complete 87, but I watched 71 out of them. And that really helped me to understand the course in a way that I could have never imagined. So understanding what learning method you're actually going to use is going to be the difference between you getting a C and you getting an A, because it will help you to understand that course on a deeper level and help you to avoid unnecessary mistakes. And next week, I'm going to be doing a video about all the different YouTube channels that you need as a science/engineering student. So be sure to subscribe and put on all the notifications if you actually want to be informed when it comes out. So there are 6 types of learning techniques that are very, very essential for you to know. So I'll be talking about all of them here. You can know which one you are. So the first one is the kinesthetic learners. So these are people that understand better based on hands-on experiences and activities. That is, like if you see them mixing the CO2 with everything, you find it a whole lot easier to remember. So if you're someone like that, now what you can simply do is find a way to practicalize, what you learn, or if not, apply it to like practical things in your mind. Trying to move it from being abstract to being actually something that you're doing in real life. So the second one is simply solitary or interpersonal learning. This is that people that learn easily by really independently in quiet environments. So this is a study technique that I still think every student should learn how to do. But there are some particular students that this is sincerely how they learn and they find it a whole lot easier to do it this way. So the third one is actually visuals. There are people that understand better by diagrams, videos, graphs, and images. And sincerely, this is the one I think I am. People like us that are visual learners here, we find it a whole lot easier to learn, when we actually listen to people talk or see the different videos and things like that. So the next one is audio learner, and I think audio kind of like belongs together with visual. So I think I'm a combination of the both. There are people like us that we find it easier to learn when we listen to lectures, when we engage in private discussions, when we also engage in audio recordings. And so if you're somebody that you're an auditory learner, you definitely know that you should not be sleeping in class, because you know that when you listen in class, you actually learn and you understand. So the next one is the read and write language. These are people that actually learn a whole lot more by reading down what they read and actually just reading it and writing it all over again. But as I've said before in this channel, this type of studying is actually a form of passive learning. So I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to actually convert this type of learning into a more active form of learning. So stay tuned for that. So this next one is kind of the one that you engage when you know that you're really, really exhausted all your means of learning. And there comes a time when you know that you are really struggling to learn this thing by yourself and you actually need to get somebody to help you. Sincerely, what you might just be struggling to learn for over 2 hours, somebody will just teach you in 20 minutes. And that was what I experienced during my exam. I thought I can never forget, it was 1 a.m. I was trying to understand one graph like that, and I had been on that graph for, was it like over 45 minutes? And so I made up my mind to sincerely stop struggling, and I went to another girl's room. And within 10 minutes, under 10 minutes, that we were able to devise it together and understand it in such a shorter amount of time. And how you can engage this getting tutor is you can either ask maybe your teacher to teach you. But this might be a little bit harder if you're in university. But the next one is getting a friend to teach you, like a classmate, somebody in your own class that understands the subject to a core. Because that person might also love to teach you because it might help them to learn a little bit. So you can really focus on that one. Or the next one is getting someone in a higher level than you to teach you, or in a higher class to teach you that particular subject, because they've gone through it before and they know the nooks and crooks and crannies. And that even leads me on to an extra tip. You guys should also learn to ask people above you, for tips on how they were able to pass the course in their own time. Because that was actually what saved my search from a lot of people getting a lot of B's in a particular course. Because those people in a high level, they knew some of the tricks that lecturer used to use, and they came and told us, or more like they told somebody to tell us, and that was what really helped us, to answer our exam questions a whole lot more better. and helped us to actually get a better grade. But the thing is, Benjamin Franklin once said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." So sometimes it's not just enough for you to engage material, like read it and all that. Sometimes you need to actually engage what you learn and find a way to actively involve yourself in what you learn. And this does not even have to do with just practicals and all that. But I'm going to be showing you ways that you can actually engage what you're learning so that you can actually understand it better and remember over the long run and pass all your exams. So I'm going to tell you 3 ways that you can actually do that. And the first one is treat what you're studying like a game. And that was what I did with this particular course that I actually ended up growing to love. So what I did was I realized that it was 87 videos. And so I realized that if I did 5 videos a day, I'll be able to go to a substantial level of progress by the end of my holiday. So that was what I did. Every single day I was giving it like five videos. If some videos were a little bit too strenuous, maybe I might go down to 3 or 2. But what matters was that I would make my mind that I would do at least 5 videos a day. And so that made it to me, it was like, oh, level 1 today, I've completed it 5 videos. Level 2 the next day, 5 videos. Like that. I kept on going, and because there was a goal in mind, there was a level to pass. It made the game much more interesting. It's just like Candy Crush. Now imagine Candy Crush was just one level, where you just keep doing it over and over and over again. Eventually you will kind of get bored. But because Candy Crush has a lot of different levels on it, it makes the game a whole lot more interesting. And so what you can simply do, you might not have a set of YouTube playlists to watch, but you can have a several set of topics that you're going to learn, and watching each topic per day or solving some particular examples in the notes can be your own level of game that you can play. And the second technique that you can use to engage what you learn is using the Feynman technique. There's been a while on this channel that talked about specific study techniques, but I think this one is really good when it comes to hard subjects. So what you're simply going to do is that after you study, you can get a small child and erupt them, or just pretend like you have somebody that you're explaining to, and try and explain it to them or explain to the fake person like as if you were explaining it to a child. So that way, you can actually be sure that you've actually really understood the material, because sometimes you really think you've understood it until you try to explain it. Explaining it, actually helps you to ensure that, oh wow, I actually know this material. Oh wow, there are some gaps in this material that I actually still need to fill. And the next one is study groups. I'm not going to really talk much on it in this video because I talked about it a whole lot more in this video here. But study groups, it just helps you, to engage with other people that also understand the course to some substantial extent, and for the both of you to actually rub minds. So it just really helps when people are practicing past questions and all, especially. So combining that, treating it like a game with study groups, guy, will practically be unstoppable. So make sure you find people that will actually help you to focus and actually improve your learning process, and then join that with making it like a game by covering YouTube videos, doing past questions, covering a set of topics in a particular day. And so there's something new that we're doing on this channel, that every single video now we have a specific number of tasks at the end that you're meant to do, so that you can be doing something immediately in the moment to actually move your academics forward. And the task for this video is actually decide which learner you are, and then plan a study schedule that will actually help you to cover the course using your newly found reading technique. And so you can use the kind of example that I gave you guys. Like I had 87 videos, and what did I do? I made an action step that, okay, every day I'm going to do 5 videos a day. So you can craft your own particular one, and you guys should send me pictures of your study schedules on Instagram or email anyone. I would like to see what you guys come up with. So yeah, but sincerely, learning the course is actually just the beginning of your academic journey. Sometimes you might actually have learned, but you find yourself making little insane mistakes, and that might actually be the difference between you having 100 and you having 60. And sincerely, I'm actually speaking from experience, because these mistakes and lapses made me, who I know I'm definitely a student, have seen in some particular courses. So I'm going to be going into depth in how I was actually be able to avoid this and actually get 100% a whole lot easier. And I'm going to be talking about this video by this side, so be sure to click on that so you can actually get a more in-depth explanation of how I was able to actually do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to actually send me your schedules on Instagram, and I would love to see that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the live video.